touch that dial. It's the Dogmen Radio Hour on Houndsman XP. With your hosts, Ed Barnes and Tanner Hurd. Now a word from our sponsors at your favorite beverage company. Yes, beverages are always refreshing and good for you too. So remember to stop and enjoy an ice cold beverage from your favorite beverage company. And now, let's catch up to the boys and hear their latest adventure on the Dogmen.
All right, guys, welcome back. Dogmen Podcast. Myself, Tanner Hurd.
Ed Barnes.
Cody Jenkins.
We got together and got to go on a rabbit hunt. It was fun for some of us. I killed 2. Ed wouldn't even take a gun because he couldn't even see them. And then the guy that took us he just murdered the rabbits. But
yeah, he's a sawed-off rabbit killer.
I was video, and it's hard to video and shoot.
yeah, so we probably will never see a video. I mean, what did y'all think about the rabbit hunt? I mean,
it's fun. I used to run rabbit dogs, but it's been a long time since I'd actually done it, so it was kind of fun to do it again. It's a different thing. I mean, I think what's kind of cool about it is that you get to see, a lot of times the dogs are in such close proximity that you get to see them strike, and you get to watch them work a trail, which is something that in most dog sports you don't really get to see. So that was kind of neat.
yeah, it was my first time going. I would been around dogs that chase the rabbit, but never somebody that just goes out with beagles in rabbit hunts. I've never done that, and it was cool to me. We don't want to get too deep into it because we plan on doing a podcast with Stoney, but at the same time we want to touch base on it. Like, to me, it was relaxing. Like when we're hog hunting, we take it as relaxing as possible. We don't get in a big hurry, but there's still a catch at the end of a race, but you can let your beagles run a rabbit around you as long as you want, so to speak. That's what I took from it. It was something that kids of any age, adults of any age could, as long as you can ease out there and get with your dogs, you're fine.
Yeah, it was kind of funny because it's really similar. The last podcast we did with Cody Fox, we went hog hunting. She hog hunts kind of opposite of me and the way me and Tanner do, where we just cast dogs and then we'll wait. Where she sends dogs, and as soon as they strike, she's like right on top of them, trying to stay close to the action. And rabbit hunting, there's those two camps as well. So Stoney prefers to like send his dogs and let them work, and then he just stays back. And he's super patient about it, and he waits sometimes a very long time for the dogs to work back towards him. And there's guys who do that, and like when I ran dogs kind of the opposite. I ran beagles kind of the way that Cody Fox runs hog dogs, where we would, as soon as the beagles struck, if they were 100 or 200 yards from us, we would go straight into them and like kind of follow the dogs, where Stoney has the opposite kind of approach. But he was a master at like picking the spot.
Yeah,
it helps when you get to hunt a place like he does all the time. He knew exactly where they was going to be when they was going to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knew. He was thinking like a rabbit. I don't know if he has rabbit fever or
yeah.
he has the brain set of a rabbit.
Yeah.
In a good way. I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah. When the dogs start chasing the rabbit, I said, I'm going to kill this one. Yeah. I got to get up there in tight and close. I turn around and he's got that son of a bitch carried over his shoulder looking at me.
Yeah.
He said, you should have been right here.
And the reason why Stoney's not with us, this podcast we're just kind of filling in. Deer gun season kicked off. Was it the weekend after we went rabbit hunting with Stoney?
Mm-hmm.
Which Stoney also hog hunts. So our plan was we were going to go rabbit hunting with him, And then the next weekend, he was going to go hog hunting with us, and then we were going to do a podcast and kind of like merge the two since he hunts both ways or both game. And we made plans, and then as soon as we made plans, we realized that we'd made plans to turn hog dogs loose the Friday before, or the night before rifle season started, which is probably, like I was telling Tanner, I was like, that is probably the worst night of the year to hunt. Just because of danger.
Yeah, it's so to speak, it's our off season. We hunt year round, but we do try to give a little respect to the rifle hunters, and that's when the Orange Army comes out. But yeah, right after this, we'll be firing up hard. It's that time of year. Everybody's calling us. They're tired of pigs eating their deer corn, and but no, that's one of the reasons we're winging it. Ed said, so hopefully we can get with Stoney and get a podcast put out. But we really ain't been doing anything with hog dog wise ourselves too much, feeding them.
But we also deer hunt too.
Yeah, we've been deer hunting, and Ed, he's not a horn hunter, but this year he hasn't shot anything because he has a big one on camera. So
yeah, it's totally messed me up. Like, I always just shoot whatever. I go, if I go deer hunting, whatever pops up first is what I shoot. And then this is the first year, believe it or not, I've ever had a game camera. And I got one pretty good buck, and I was like, man, I'm going to try to get this guy. And then passed up a bunch of does and a small buck first 2 days. And then I said, forget this. I'm just going to shoot the first thing I see. And then I've only got to go twice since then, but I haven't seen a deer since then.
Well, it's made me so happy. I haven't told Ed this, but, like, I enjoy deer hunting myself. I enjoy just being in the woods, but I enjoy also trying to chase a big deer. I run trail cameras through the summer, and it's just kind of a side hobby. We still run dogs, and we still do all that. And every time I talk to Ed, I got a big deer on camera, he kind of rolls his eyes at me, and act like he's just way above that. But he got him a game camera this year, and now he's kind of turned into a horn hunter a little bit, and it just makes me happy. So.
We're rubbing off on him.
I like to eat deer.
Oh, I do too.
But yeah, I would like to kill that one I saw.
So I got 3 deer in my freezer, and they'll be gone before next year's deer season by far, easy.
When we had a house full of kids, I'm not kidding. Like, we could eat a deer in a week and a half. Because like when we would get a deer, it was like that's what we ate every meal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think 3 deer is going to last you when you got a bunch of kids. You got 3 kids, Cody.
Oh, yeah.
And them kids can put a hurting on a deer.
They like it.
And that's the thing. I grew up hunting, and my dad's from Montana, and he grew up hunting there, but it was elk. It was, he had bird dogs. They'd point grouse, stuff like that. When he moved to Oklahoma, he's like, well, the whitetail's cool, but you don't really do it anymore. So I grew up, we didn't eat it, like.
Really?
I would eat it at a distant family's house and loved it. I mean, I love the taste of deer meat, but like as far as my family, no, we didn't eat it. And then we had to get together, I think 2 years ago at my uncle's house. And I said, I'll make some kebabs. I'll grill kebabs. So I made kebabs. Just looked beautiful kebabs. Everybody bragged on them, how good they was. And I let everybody get done, and we was all sitting there talking. I said, I can't believe y'all like them kebabs. What? Why? I said, well, it was deer meat. And you thought my mom seen a ghost. I mean, just, oh my God, I can't believe you done that. Like, but you liked it, didn't you? Yeah, I liked it. I said, well, exactly. But that's just how I grew up. But me and my wife now, we enjoy it to the full. I mean, we look forward to it. So.
Yeah, and we ate after we. How many rabbits did we get with Stoney?
I think it was 9. Wasn't
Nine
it?
altogether.
9 or 10.
So basically, I shot 2. Then Nick shot the 1, I think, with Stoney. I think that's how it went.
Yeah,
And then
but Stoney could have killed it. He said he let Nick shoot it.
Yeah. Then Stoney killed the rest.
6. Yeah.
It was.
I was more of just a rabbit watcher.
I'm not saying he's good, but he just had a better spot than we did.
No, he's good. I've been rabbit hunting a bunch, and he's good.
No, we had fried rabbit that night.
Yeah.
We cooked fried rabbit that night.
Yeah, we did. And I'd also never had that. And I was very impressed. We just fried it, and I'm sure people can cook it better than I did, but they have had it before. But I was really pleased with it.
Wild rabbit's my favorite wild game meat.
Yeah, as far as flavor, it tends to kind of be tough. I like fried rabbit, but it does tend to be tough that way.
Yeah.
I don't really notice it. And my kids love it. They'll eat that faster than they eat deer meat.
Yeah, I think for me, wild game meat goes in rank. I would rank it rabbit, squirrel. I don't know if I'd put hog. I don't know if number 3 would be hog or deer. Probably hog, and then deer. Just as far as like flavor.
See, I think I still have deer towards the top.
Me too. Mine's rabbit, then deer.
And I haven't had squirrel a whole lot. Colby's grandma, which she could cook anything in the world, and it's going to be amazing. Her pans are something special, and she's just good at everything she does in the cooking wise. And she used to make us squirrel and dumplings, and me and Colby would lock the door for nobody else to get in the house and eat all we could. But I've had it fried a couple times, but no, for sure. I mean, I seen a rabbit last night when I was out in the field at the house doing stuff after dark. I was like, well, I said he'd taste good. Yeah,
You might start shooting them now.
yeah, no, but no, it's our off season. Like I said, we're getting warmed up. I brought some puppies that I'm gonna take over to Cody's house. And,
You brought them with you now?
yeah, but hopefully that way when we turn them loose, they won't chase every other thing in the woods but a pig.
Maybe.
But you said you like rabbits, so
Yeah, that's true. If they'll chase a rabbit or bay a rabbit, that'd be pretty neat. I don't know if anybody's ever just sure enough got a rabbit to bay up, but
Yeah, I think they're pretty hard to get to bay up.
are they?
I would imagine.
That's what I wondered the other day. I was like, these beagles are going. I was like, how do I know when to send the bulldog? I was like,
Yeah.
how do you know when they're bayed? And
It's kind of a funny thing too, like kind of like what I was saying, how you get to watch a lot of it. Like for somebody who's never rabbit hunted with beagles, they would probably imagine that these rabbits are just like flying, like just running as fast as they can possibly run. But they really don't.
no,
Like we were hunting kind of like a light timber in areas that was fairly thick.
solid briar patches.
Yeah. I mean, that's typically where they're going to
It's
be.
like typical good rabbit
Yeah.
hunting territory.
But, so the dogs would be kind of making you could hear them getting closer to you, or you could see them at lots of points. And then the rabbits, they just they don't flat out just run full bore. They just kind of hop, stop, kind of stand, wait, and then they run a little bit more.
well, they know they're camouflaged enough that.
And it also depends on the speed of your dogs too.
Yeah.
His dogs wasn't fast.
No.
And they don't push that rabbit as hard because so many people that I've been with is different. My father-in-law, for instance, he's got fast dogs. So when them dogs are getting close to you, that rabbit's right there. And them dogs could be making a comeback, and that rabbit would be hopping right in front of us, and we wouldn't know it.
But that's enough of Stony talk. No, that way we can save some for when he's with us. But how old were you when you got beagles, Ed, the first time?
It would have been like 1997. So I'd have been like 26 or so, 25, 26.
Yeah. I would, let me see, I would have been 1. Yeah, 1 year old.
I kind of grew up around beagles.
I was 4.
You were 4. My grandpa always had a ton of beagles, and then one of my uncles always had beagles around, rabbit dogs. So it was kind of a natural. I was wanting to get into dog hunting, and it was kind of the go-to, and it was fun. I ran like patch bred beagles, which were like a lemon and white, a little bit larger than what Stoney had. And I had two of my better ones at the time, and I got them running really well. And then I would get up almost every morning, probably 4 days a week. I'd get up and go run them for an hour or so before I went to work. I was younger then and had energy to do that kind of stuff.
We was just talking before we started this that Ed has a lot easier time waking up in the evenings to go deer hunting than he does in the mornings. And so that's why I was wondering if he's being very truthful on this rabbit story. But
yeah, I was younger.
So let me ask you this. As far as your quality of dog, do you think you had better rabbit dogs or hog dogs?
Well, I didn't really run rabbit dogs for very long, probably no more than 2 years. And actually I was up by Oologah, and I was coming back from rabbit hunting up that way. I had decent dogs. I mean, I shot rabbits with them. And I stopped at a gas station, and this is probably 99, right around 99. And this truck pulled in, like homemade dog box, 2 levels, bunch of cur dogs in it. It had a bulldog tied up on top of one of the boxes. And I just remember looking at these guys, and I was like, what is going on here? What could these guys possibly be hunting with these dogs?
Was there any rebel flag stickers on their truck?
The Houndsman XP Podcast Network is powered by Cajun Lights. All of your lighting needs for hunting can be taken care of at Cajun Lights. They have 3 models of cap lights. I'm going to run through them real quick. You've got the Rougarou, which is their high-end light. If you're a competition hunter and you got to find that coon up in a tree and it's all riding on finding that coon, you'll want the Rougarou on your head. Next is the Bayou. That's a pretty standard light, but it's got packed with features. It's got multiple colors. It's got walking lights. It's got the red, the green, the amber. It's all built in right into that light. And then you have one of my personal favorites, the Micro Gator. The Micro Gator is an ultra lightweight cap light. It's got all the features of a white light, red, green, and amber. I've used this light for everything from finding bear tracks early in the morning to coon hunting at night to working on plumbing in the house, changing tires on the side of the road. My truck doesn't leave the driveway without a Cajun light in it, and that light is the Micro Gator. Every Cajun light is durable, made from the highest quality components, and it is backed by Cajun's top-rated customer service. Check out Cajun Lights. You can go to our website at houndsmanxp.com. Go to our sponsors page, hit that link, it'll take you right to Cajun Lights. Check them out. They got a lot of stuff to offer over at Cajun Lights.
I don't recall, but I'm sure there probably was. So, I'm kind of a shy person anyway, but it was like, I'm pumping my gas and it was driving me crazy. So I went over and introduced myself, and they said they was hog hunting. It didn't even it didn't register in my mind. I was like, hog hunting? To me it sounded like, horse hunting or, something like that.
You were that guy.
Yeah, I was that guy.
You were that guy.
I was that guy. But back then there was hardly any hog hunters we're up in northern Oklahoma. So there was very, very few. Down south, I imagine there was obviously more. But, so we exchanged phone numbers, and the next weekend I went hog hunting with those guys, and from that, I mean, from that minute, like, I was done with beagles and it was on to hog dogs.
Yeah, that's kind of how I was with coon dogs. Like, me and Cody, I mean, we all grew up together, and I enjoy coon hunting. I would go tonight if I had the option. I enjoy going. There's nothing I don't like about it. But when I started hog hunting, I was like, this is more my game, you know. And it's just, you got to do what you enjoy, you know.
You'll have that option of coon hunting when you can't really go hard when you're hog hunting.
Yeah,
once you get older and you can't physically do it no more, then you can fall back to coon hunting.
Yeah, hog hunting, and that's kind of, you know, I was young at the time, and that hog hunting kind of draws in that, you know, when you're young, you want action and excitement and all that. And I think hog hunting is kind of suited towards the young.
That's 100%. Like, that was my main thought after we went rabbit hunting. I was like, you know, when I get too old and don't have the drive to go up and down these haulers and flip a boar hog and, you know, all that jazz.
Yeah, like running bulldogs out that are cut on your back.
And just stuff like that, which I'm about too fat for it anyways now. But you could, I would definitely have 4 beagles and putt around and drink my coffee and lie to people.
Yeah. Well, like, you know, Cody's, is it your father-in-law, right? That rabbit hunts. And like you were telling us, like, he doesn't shoot. And while we was hunting with Stoney, the place that we was hunting is a really popular. I used to hunt it, you know, back when I ran beagles. It's just loaded. It's a super popular spot. But like one old guy come by, he had lost a couple beagles. He didn't even have tracking collars on them. And I was talking to him for a bit, and he doesn't shoot. So I think a lot of the older guys, it's just kind of, you know, get out and run the dogs and
get away from your wife.
Yeah.
Like get their buddies together and they just go run rabbits.
Yeah. Well, see, I mean, so I've kind of got the best of both worlds. Like, I'm getting older, but I hog hunt with younger guys, so they get to do all the work, and I get to
take home the glory.
So what we got to do, like, whenever you guys start getting up around my age, then we got to find some like 20-something-year-old kids.
Well, my son's coming up. He'll be ready before long.
That's true.
Which I put in my time. Like, I hunted with Lee George. He ran beagles. I mean, he ran beagles his whole life and never quit. He had beagles and hog dogs. Him and I hog hunted together. And it was kind of hard to get him to do it, but every once in a while I'd twist his arm and we'd go run his beagles instead of hog hunting. But so I've been on the other side of it too. Like, he was, you know, I was 40 and he was 70 when we hog hunted. So I had to be the young guy that did all the hard work. So I've been on the other side of it too.
Yeah, that's why you're slacking off hard now.
I'm not slacking.
No.
We've talked about it before, but we hunted a tournament, and Ed went along with a camera. And the rule was he couldn't do anything. And it was no different than going hunting on a Saturday night. Like,
whatever.
Yeah, he'd say, I'd grab that dog. He said, but I can't do nothing.
I can't.
And I said, Ed, there's no difference. I said, you're just hunting with us like normal.
Whatever.
Rules are rules, you know.
But he was just using that day as an excuse.
I don't want to break the rules.
I don't know if I ever want to hunt like that again.
Oh, I mean, the tournaments are definitely...
Yeah, I mean, we walked 24 miles in 25 hours.
24 miles in 25 hours.
Yeah.
And
that's not as the crow. That's as the crow flies. They don't include them nasty old haulers that we had to go up and down.
And that wasn't even pushing dogs. That was just getting pigs out of the woods and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so.
We really had some bad luck that day. A lot of missed catches and everything.
I mean, caught a bunch of... I mean, you guys got second place.
Yeah.
And missed first place by like...
It wasn't much, but...
7 pounds or something like that.
Yeah, it's something.
But we don't normally hunt. We don't normally hunt in that style anyway. But it was like we took off on foot, and the dogs just kept pushing deeper and baying hogs, and we just kept in and up deeper and deeper, and it was a lot of more walking than normal. Which, if you're going to win a tournament, that's a hard to come in second and do it the way you guys did it is pretty impressive, because obviously the easier way to do that is, drive and dump on stuff
And
close.
it wouldn't have been near as bad, but the place that we was hunting on, it was hunting season, wasn't it? And they didn't want us driving out there in vehicles. I can't remember if it was hunting season.
I don't think it was hunting season. It was just
They just didn't want us driving out there.
That was the rule, yeah. But yeah, that's.
Yeah, the tournament's brutal. Which I mean, they have, like in the beagle world, so you'll have field trials, which is kind of, I guess, would be kind of like their tournament,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of like coon hunting. There'll be 3 or 4 guys would go out together, and then I think I've never done it. I've been along on them. I've never put dogs in it, but I think they have a judge, But what I was getting at, and then obviously you have coon hunting competitions. I mean, most dog sports have some kind of competition that goes with it.
Mm-hmm.
But none of those compare to like the intensity of like a hog hunting tournament.
Yeah, and another thing I got to put towards that, like the hog hunting tournament, the reason I'm not huge on it is a lot of it matters where you hunt. Like, am I going to be able to get this pig out of the woods in 5 minutes? Or am I going to have to take an hour and a half to try to get him up out of this draw? And not saying that's I'm not saying that's not fair. That's just part of it. There's different circumstances and everything that you do in life. But people got to realize, yeah, you might have 60 pigs come into a camera at night on this place, but you got to figure out how to get them out of there, and that's a lot of it. A lot of it's the work towards it,
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that a hog hunting tournament determines who has the best dogs.
No, a lot of it's spots, and that's
it's really who has the best spots.
That's
Or
I can't really even say that, because we got some of the best spots in Cherokee County to hunt.
But they're not
nasty, like Tanner said.
Yeah, but they're not good spots for
hog hunting
tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, typically, and it's kind of changing a little bit, but typically tournaments are like 48 hours plus, right around 60 hours, 2.5 days or so, normally, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, the time frame is big enough to where, like, if you're having a tournament, if there's a tournament in Oklahoma, even if the check-in is up where we're at, northeast in the mountains, somebody from central Oklahoma or even southern Oklahoma can enter. They just have to allow themselves
time to get
4 or 5 hours to drive back to weigh-in, so they can go, like central Oklahoma, like you've hunted a tournament down there with Clay, like cropland, where it's flat. So they can go hunt flat cropland with grids of roads every mile, where it's easier to get pigs in and out, and kind of use that terrain to their benefit, and then just drive 4 hours back up here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a good judge of a dog. I mean, and people have been banging their heads against the wall for years trying to figure out a hog hunting tournament that mimics like the coon hunting competition world, where guys go out together. But it just doesn't work, because you can't just throw hog dogs together the same way that you would throw 3 or 4 coon hounds together.
Exactly. And a thing that I tried to put out there on the hog hunting deal was just have, like they have a big coon contest, have a big hog contest.
Yeah.
Have one big hog. You might catch a 80-pounder and beat me. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like if you have a big one coming in on camera, you can go kick out on him, but that does not mean you're going to catch him.
Yeah, I mean, we did a couple tournaments like that, with ODHA, where we shortened it up from being 2.5 days to just being like the last
24 hour.
I don't even know if it was 24 hours. The last one we did up there at the rodeo grounds at Locust, what was that? I think we started at 6 p.m. on Friday. Yeah, it was. And then
24 hour, I think.
Weigh in 6 p.m. Weigh in one hog at 6 p.m. on Saturday. And I always liked that because, the other thing about the hog competitions, kind of the normal, is just if you show up with 60 hogs, or sometimes they'll do the 5 biggest or whatever. But what I don't like about that is where you just got armies of guys out there like decimating your hog population.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a sticky political situation, but we're hog hunters and we like hogs.
And that's
a hard subject to talk about, though.
Yeah.
'Cause there's most people that we hunt on want them gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. And you gotta respect the people you hunt on's rules. That's their property, and that's what you have to abide by, which is what we do, But I was talking to a friend of mine that's a deer hunter, and he's a diehard deer hunter, and he was saying a bad rap about the pigs, and he kind of mouthed off that about me liking pigs. I said, Taylor, I said, why would I want to kill every pig in the woods? I said, yeah, we can knock them back. I said, knock them off your feeders, knock them off this, but what if something happened and you killed every deer in the woods? Every deer was gone.
Then what would you do?
What would you do? What would we do with all this corn we got piled up? And it's a touchy subject, and I get it 100%, and we'll always bicker back and forth about it, and that's just part of it.
The Houndsman XP podcast is fueled by Joy Dog Food. Joy Dog Food has a rich tradition of supporting the Houndsmen of America. Founded in 1945, Joy is proud of its history and the relationship it has built with the American Houndsman. And in 76 years, there's never been a recall. Made with 100% American-made high-quality ingredients, Joy Dog Food has one of the highest calorie-dense formulas on the market. For 76 years, this made-in-America product has kept hunting dogs in the field day after day, season after season. And when we say made in America, Joy has a long track record of fighting for American freedoms by being on the front lines against the animal rights movement and their extremist tactics. Joy will fuel your hounds and fight for your freedoms, fueled by Joy.
But, yeah, you have to abide by it. We've had some, we're not going to say what we did, but we've had some incidents that the guy wanted us to kill the hogs no matter what, and me and Ed both forgot a pocket knife.
Oh, over at...
Yeah. But we did what we said we was going to do, and we got rained on and everything else because of it. We had to go back and get something to dispatch the pig with, but it...
we tried to kill this pig without a knife.
Yeah.
Like Tanner said, I'm not going to get into specifics. You'll just have to use your imagination. But we tried to kill this pig. Got him.
It did die.
Yeah. We got him back to the road. We weren't all that far from the road, but it was hard getting him back to the road. We got him back to the road. We thought, surely we got something in the truck we can kill this thing with.
And that's where we're going to cut it off.
Then that's where we stop.
But the pig is dead.
But we went to afterwards, I think it was the next day, we went back over to the landowners. He'd just given us permission that morning. We went back over to his house, and we were telling him the story about the debacle we had with the pig. And he said, dang, guys, he said, in a situation like that, you don't have to kill it. I mean, don't go to that extreme to kill it.
But you got to keep your word.
Yeah, I mean, and he respected us on that. And then, and then he said, after we told him that, he said, because at first it was every hog has to come out dead. And then when we told him that story about how far we went with it, he said, well, if y'all want to take some out alive to sell for dog food, he knew he could trust us at that point. I mean, it's kind of, I get it because hogs are, not native I do think that hogs get blamed for a lot of stuff that isn't totally true. But, you know,
Oh, yeah.
coon hunters would never get in trouble for not shooting every coon that they treat, or
And that just goes back to,
And believe it or not, they probably eat, around here, probably eat just as much corn as a pig.
oh, for sure.
Because I got twice as many coon on camera than I do pig.
you know,
Yeah.
it's weird though, because me and Tanner were talking about this last year. Well, 2 years ago, Oklahoma went to year-round gun season on coons. What, 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think so.
And they did that because the population was just getting out of hand.
Yeah, out of control.
But like last year, Tanner would show me pictures from his game camera, and there would be
16, 17 coons in one picture.
yeah. And this year, I haven't seen that. Have you?
I have in other spots besides my house. I told Chuck that he could coon hunt anytime he wanted, and I said, but there's only one rule. I said, you know, try to thin them down. I said, I know that, you know, their hides aren't worth a whole lot now, but they're so thick that either that's going to happen or the disease is going to wipe them out. I mean, like, it was getting to that point. I mean, you could walk out there in the daylight and there'd be coons eating corn. I mean, it was just unbelievable. But they're not as bad. Other places, yeah, I still have quite a few. But
I mean, it's crazy because I mean, a coon hide today is probably worth like a premium. Is probably worth like $3 today.
Oh, yeah. Maybe.
Maybe. So like, who's gonna skin coons
for
and
$3
and freeze them and
Because skinning a coon ain't the easiest thing in the world, neither.
just get it,
Greasy, nasty.
yeah, to get it good. But like my dad was telling me, in the 70s, coon hides got to $30 in the 1970s, and him and my uncle would go coon hunting just to make money.
Well, that's what my dad was, and my grandpa, that's what they used to do almost for kind of have a living.
Yeah.
My
So-
dad said it didn't matter what kind of, he said most of them was around 20 to 30 bucks, coons. He said a possum was worth $5. He goes, you kill possums just to pay for your gas.
Yeah.
He said then coons is where you made your money.
So you think about it. So I think that was in the, I want to say the mid 70s. I could be wrong, but I know it was in the 70s that my dad said like a premium good hide was going for around 30. So say that was 1975. So in today's, you know, adjusted for inflation, that would probably be like, if a coon hide was worth $110, I think I'd be going coon hunting tonight.
Yeah.
Well, you could make money off doing it.
And I haven't heard a good explanation of why. And it's not just coon, the whole fur market is pretty much, the bottom's just falling out a bit.
Well, it'd be all the, you know, the fake furs, I would imagine. You know, that hardly anything's made out of real fur anymore. I mean,
Well, I know that
that I know of. I mean, I could be dead wrong, but
I know that a lot of the furs from America went to Russia. That's where they, you know, the buyers that, you know, bought from everybody and saved them up. I know that a good number of those hides were going to Russia or, you know, Eastern Europe. So I don't know why. I don't know. I'm sure that market has something to do with why it's gone down. But I mean, we used to, you know, on hogs, we used to be able to sell wild hogs through the sale barns. And they stopped that 5-6 years ago in Oklahoma.
longer than that now, I would imagine, probably 10.
Yeah, it's
probably
been at least 10 years.
It probably has been.
Oh.
But I mean, that was the best thing. And they did that to try to take the monetary value off of a pig, thinking that that would reduce numbers. But I think it had the exact opposite effect. But I mean, used to if we caught a good boar hog and he was in a place where we could get him out alive, and we had a holding pen to keep him till Friday. The sale barn here was on Friday night. But there was a lot of times we'd take a 250-pound boar hog up there with good teeth and get about $1 a pound, which was pretty good money.
Yeah, it's dog food, and that's the same thing we would do. Like, not just take them to the sale barn, but we would sell them to people around here who would want to buy them. And I understand 100% they want to buy a live pig, because I wouldn't want to buy something dead laying on the back of somebody's truck. You don't know how long it's been dead, and stuff like that. But when they made it where we can't transport them alive, that shut all that down. And we wasn't getting rich off of it. It was 20 cents a pound. If you're just selling it to somebody.
It was a free bag of dog food.
It was a free bag of dog food, exactly. And which, I mean, like I said, it ain't do or die. We're gonna hunt no matter what. But it was just another aspect of it, I guess.
Yeah, we have right where we're at, Northeast Oklahoma. Again, I don't really understand it, but we have a fairly large population of Asian immigrants, and they're Cambodian, Laotian, Vietnamese, and they love boar hog.
Oh,
they want to eat boar hogs.
Yeah, I took a boy that has grew up around our family the other evening during youth season. I took him deer hunting. And he'd never been hunting before at all, and we was sitting there and hadn't seen any deer at all. We was watching this boar hog pop out in the field, and me being me, I was like, I don't want to shoot this thing. But he was watching it, and I said, you want to shoot that? And he was, yeah. I said, okay. I said, we'll see if we can get close enough first. So we sneak up on him. I think we got about 60 yards. And he's eating down this road, and he just keeps getting farther and farther away from us. So we'd get all set up, and he's trying to find him in the scope and stuff like that. And then he'd move. And then we'd get a little closer. I think we did that 3 or 4 times. And finally he turned, and he shot him, made a good shot on him. I was proud of him. I mean, shooting a 30-30, he'd never shot anything, He's eat up with it now. He keeps a camo backpack at our store. He hangs that around our store all the time, and he has his camo clothes in it at all times. Because if I come by and I'm going deer hunting, he can go with me, he says. So I try to take him as much as I can, but I was taking him back to the store to his brother that night, and I don't know if he was Laotian or what he was, but they was so happy to have that boar hog. They had 2 or 3 deer in the back of their truck, but they was happier to have that hog than they was those deer.
Yeah.
And which was fine. I give them the pig. I wasn't worried about selling it to them or nothing like that. I would rather it get used, and know that they're going to eat it. But
yeah, and you're taking, and that's something that gets talked about a lot, but I don't think. I mean, there's people who do it, but like what you're talking about, like this boy doesn't really have a father figure.
No, but he just grew up with our family, and he's supposed to go hog hunting with us this winter too. After the gun season and stuff's over. But I'm huge on. I want to get people in the woods, not just because he don't have a father figure. It's good for everybody to learn how people used to live.
Well, I mean, if you look at it's been a few years since I've looked at it, but I'm sure the trend has continued on the way that it was. But there used to be a website where you could look at the number of like general hunting licenses that were sold in Oklahoma for each year, going back decades, and the number of deer harvested, and number of small game or fur bearer tags bought, and all this stuff, and it was all just a line. The numbers were just getting smaller. So, I mean, it's not fun to think about, but I mean, we are kind of in a cultural war where people like us that hunt, we're the oddballs now. And as our numbers get smaller, our influence gets smaller, and our way of life just, gets cut back and back and back, and we have fewer people to to help us with that fight to keep.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that I kill everything I eat. You know, I'm not that kind of person, but it is, to me, it's good to get back to your roots. You know, like, for instance, like I took him hunting, you know, a couple evenings ago. I shot a doe. He was sitting right beside me, and he was more pumped about me shooting it than I was. You know, which I've shot a lot of deer, but we shot that doe to eat, and he has asked me probably 3 times, "Hey, when are we going to cook that doe?"
You know what app I use on my phone more than any other app besides the podcast app to listen to this here podcast? I use OnX. OnX Maps is the most comprehensive mapping system for hunters on the market today. I use it all the time. When I was in New Mexico, I was looking at 40,000 acres of ranch that I needed to learn. I flip open OnX and just start studying the map. When I'm riding trails, I put the tracking app on. It helps me get around in strange country. I could mark water sources, food sources, bear sign, just all kinds of options within OnX. You need to check out OnX Maps by going to houndsmanxp.com. Click on the link on our sponsor page. You'll go right to OnX Maps, and when you check out, enter the code HXP20 and you will get 20% off of your order. Know where you stand with OnX.
You know, when are we going to eat that deer meat? So tomorrow evening he's coming over. We're going to cook it. We're going to do all that. And, you know, it's good because hunting's a fad. Hunting is a hobby. It's so marketed right now. I mean, Cody understands. Like, Cody duck hunts, Cody deer hunts. We've hunted everything, but people make a lot of money off hunting. You know, like from your deer corn sales to your camo to your rifles to your everything, which is awesome. You know, because that helps make it where we can still do it. You know, but it wasn't very long ago when you shoot a deer. Hey, my family's gonna eat. You know, like you said, your kids would eat off deer until it was gone.
Oh yeah, and I mean, there's a kind of people used to kind of do it. People used to kind of hunt for, well, like saving money. You know, like especially here in Oklahoma, not everybody, most people were poor, and we're kind of getting back to that. But what I see a lot nowadays is that people are hunting for the table, but it's not as much about money. It's kind of like this is organic. This is better for me, and I think that's important and it's true. And like about the kid, like when you go hunting and kill something and then eat it, it like adds another level to. I mean, otherwise you could just go shoot at targets, you know, and get a really good shot on a target and feel good.
Yeah.
My son, he killed his first deer last year, and he was more excited about all of us getting to eat it than he was him actually shooting it.
Yeah, and that's to me, that's the most important part about hunting.
And that's what drives him. Like this year, we didn't have no more deer meat in the freezer. He said, "Dad, we need to go deer hunting."
Yeah.
I said, "Bub, it's not season yet." And he goes, "Well, when's season?" He said, "We need some more deer jerky, some more meat, because they like it."
Yeah.
And yeah, it is like, I swear, like the wild game, and I raise cattle. You know, I believe in eating a giant steak and all of that, but you can't deny that meat is just downright healthy, even when you slap it in flour and fry it. I mean, you just feel better about what you're eating.
Well, I mean, hogs have quite a bit of fat just because they're hogs. But if you take them out of the equation, most game is super lean meat.
Mm-hmm. Even like, we've caught some bar hogs, but the average hog that we catch is not that fat.
No. I'll tell you, the average good-sized boar hog probably has an inch, maybe an inch and a quarter of fat along his back.
Yeah.
But then you get one of them bar hogs. Like, how thick do you think that fat was?
Oh, it was 5 inches.
That was a lot. I rendered lard off of that bar hog for like almost. It took me almost 2 weeks to get all of it, and there is no telling how many gallons of lard I got off that thing. But then now, like, see, so used to, even going back to like the 80s, everybody looked at animal fats like lard. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you hear lard, you think, oh gosh, that's super unhealthy. But now the science has kind of gotten away from that, and now they're going, oh, wait a minute, these like animal fats that we thought clogged up your heart and your arteries and was bad for you, I think we may have been wrong. Actually, that stuff's good for you. Not good for you, but not bad for you. Much better than all these, vegetable oils that were supposed to be the healthy alternative. But yeah, I think, hunting for the table.
It's coming back though, because they on the deer check-in deal like they had last year, and it was probably just because of the COVID and all that shit. But there was more deer killed in the last 2 years than there has been in the last 5.
Was it really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's got all this. They was getting all this money from the COVID stuff, and like, what are we going to do? Let's go hunting.
Yeah.
And another thing I think that's helping it, and I really like the show myself, is like the meat eater shows.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
They show like he doesn't just kill 200-inch whitetail. He don't just kill ginormous moose or bears or elk. I mean, he has. Don't get me wrong. I would love to kill some of the animals he's been able to take in, but he shows you from start to finish, and there's getting to be a lot more shows like that. Like Wild Game Kitchen, Wild Game, Master Chef and stuff like that.
Yeah, because there's kind of earlier this week at my shop, a customer come in that I do a lot of work with and kind of know him fairly well, and he's probably in his early 40s, and he was super pumped, and he was like, I shot my first deer yesterday. He shot it last Sunday. And I was kind of shocked that he's from here. I was kind of shocked that that was his first deer. But he was like, I butchered it and everything. He said, I had a friend come over and show me how to butcher it, and I got it all packaged in the freezer. He said, but I haven't eaten any of it yet. And he was kind of like, I don't know, like, how should I cook this? But that's what I'm getting at, is kind of this, just like, people don't know, some people don't know that didn't grow up around it or whatever, that it is good and it's not complicated. Like I told this guy, I was like, cook it like you would beef. Mm-hmm. Don't overthink this.
Yeah, there's all kinds of ways you can cook deer. It's just simple. Throw it in stew. You can ground hamburger meat, good and chili, or take the back straps and fry them up.
Yeah, he hadn't had any, so I was like, you haven't, backstraps never hit my freezer. But I was like, you didn't eat the backstrap? And he's like, no, I don't really know. I'm kind of, I don't know what to do. And I was like, man, slice that, take a tenderizing hammer, dredge it in flour and fry it, and then make some white gravy. Oh, my goodness.
You're making me hungry.
Oh, my goodness.
No, I think, honestly, me and my wife, one of our favorite ways you've come over and ate with us is just grilling it.
The backstrap?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I love it fried too. I'm not saying I don't, but we'll just little steak seasoning and olive oil and put it on the grill, and then it takes.
We cooked it
10 seconds.
Bear camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes 10 seconds to cook. Deer meat cooks fast when it's sliced thin.
Yeah, you need to cook it fast.
Yeah, and obviously you want to make sure it's cooked, but in my opinion, but you don't want to overcook it at all.
Not like a little bit of blood.
Well, they say medium rare is the way you want to cook deer meat.
Yeah.
And that's taboo to some people. They don't. They see blood. It's not cooked.
But no, we don't want to get like completely off topic. But this is also what we want to do too. We don't want it to be drilling questions. We've said that a bunch of times, and this is our off season. We have been deer hunting, and we like what it brings to the table. So
Yeah, we need to go squirrel hunting now.
Yeah. Yeah, if anybody out there has some good squirrel dogs.
we're decent.
They don't have to be the best. If somebody wants to go squirrel hunting, drop us a line, me or Tanner. Hit us up on Facebook, or we're not hard to get a hold of. That would be fun. I've squirrel hunted with dogs quite a bit, and squirrel hunting with dogs is a good, like you were saying earlier, like rabbit hunting is good for like old men and kids.
Mm-hmm.
I think squirrel hunting with dogs is the best way to introduce kids into dog hunting, because if you get in a good spot with decent dogs, there's very little downtime for a kid to get bored. Like you take a kid deer hunting at 10 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just like, sit there, don't move, be quiet. Yeah, it's cold. They get bored, and you don't want, they come back home, they're like, oh man, hunting is terrible.
That's how I got introduced into hunting. My grandpa took me squirrel hunting. We didn't have dogs, but he'd take me, and we killed numerous squirrels. And we'd come back, skin them, and my grandma would cook them.
Yeah, I like squirrel hunting, still hunting too.
And
That's usually how it works. You go deer hunting, you'll see a bunch of squirrels. You squirrel hunting, you'll see a bunch of deer.
Yeah, that's why you can.
I got the spot to go still hunting.
Do you?
Oh yeah, we did drive 2 hours, but
Well, somebody out there's got some dogs. Cody's got the spot.
I went deer hunting down there, and I could see a deer walking, and there's leaves everywhere, and you could not hear this deer walking. There were so many squirrels. I'm by the thousands.
Yeah.
Big old pecan trees, and they was just going crazy. And that's my first thought. I said, I'm gonna bring my son down here.
Yeah, it's fun. Squirrel and dumplings. I'm not much on dumplings. I prefer squirrel and noodles. I mean, I like dumplings, but
You want to remind everybody about your wish about squirrel hunting?
my wish about squirrel hunting.
Yeah. What did you tell us?
I told Tanner and Cody a few years ago. I said, man, if I ever get like cancer or something terminal, and I'm just like sitting around the house like slowly dying, I was like, I just want you guys just to like come over and be like, get up, Ed, like we're gonna go squirrel hunting, and when you get me out there, just shoot me in the back of the head when I'm not looking. So I don't, so like the next morning, Tanner called me. He's like, what are you doing? Oh, nothing. So you want to go squirrel hunt? So that's a little premature. I said, like,
well, he said when we think he's ill, and we think he's ill.
When I'm decrepit and suffering, shoot me.
You're decrepit and we're suffering.
I think I'm far from decrepit.
That's just personal preference.
Yeah, I think that's probably a wrap. We're sorry that we don't really have, we're not really matching our format here, but it's kind of what it is. Like Tanner said, it's deer season. Everybody understands that stuff always shuts you down. But we'll get back with Stoney. We're going to go squirrel hunting. I think we missed deer dog season.
It's always next year.
Give us something to look forward to.
Yeah, next year we'd really like to go. None of us have ever been deer dogging, and I think that'd be pretty exciting.
You got a video on that too?
No, I think I'd probably shoot on that. Cody could video that.
Listen to him.
Yeah, the video, like when you video a hunt, sometimes it's fun. It's fun to look at later.
A video camera's nice, but we need to get some GoPros.
Yeah, because a lot of times you miss the hunt.
Yeah, because when we went on the coyote hunt, I was trying to look, and then I'd move the video camera, and it would be off.
Yeah.
If you got one strapped to your head, you're just going to see what you're seeing.
Another thing that I think is on our hit list before spring is the coyotes with the sight hounds.
Yeah.
I think that's another thing on our hit list. My father-in-law has some, but if there's anybody out there on that as well.
What time of year are they doing that?
Right now.
They're doing it right now because that place my brother-in-law's got leased, they do it with sighthounds.
Yep. After the crops are cut and you can see, that's when they'll start getting fired up. So, well, everyone, thank you for putting up with us. Hope we didn't bore you too much on this run.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
Yep.